The terrors of tripping on pumps.
Be there! Scour the spaceways! Explore vast alien worlds!
This tin right here contains the whole rigmarole.
I used to smoke about an ounce of hash every day.
Good.
And it made me go a little bonkers.
Maybe if I occupy his mind with more duties, I can control his space.
Hi.
Big fat doobies.
Hi.
Oh, hi. What's up, everybody?
What's
it's
up?
Saturday, May 23rd, 2020, episode 200 of The Hot Box. I'm Matt. That's Grand. What's up, Grand?
What's up, buddy? How you doing today?
Good, man. Good to be back. Another week. Hotbox.earth. That's the website. Definitely check it out. Broadcasting live here from the Dab subreddit Discord chat. Join us. Links are on the site and all over the subreddit. So, top of the show, it's time to give away a rig, I think.
Ooh.
Shauna Glass Girl, circa 2015 or 16, I think.
Oh, it's so pretty.
With a little matching dabber, though. Got a ton of entries. Super grateful for everyone's participation in the giveaway. You guys are
It just
awesome.
reminds me of a galaxy.
Got the server up to the next level. Basically topped out the Discord server on boosts. You guys are beasts. Thank you.
That's awesome. Thank you, guys. We are level 3. We have a custom URL now.
So
Not quite sure what that means, but yes.
it means it's easier for people to find us, probably. That's pretty sweet. If they can just put in like dabsdiscord.com or whatever the link is, instead of having to put in like whatever the random like hash
The
number. Yeah.
Discord.HQR3YZZBVV.
Fuck around
That
and
sounds awesome.
find yourself in some Discord that you didn't mean to be just by mistyping a number. But yeah,
We're gonna have to
definitely.
change it around.
I think Tooth, our Jamie here's going to be doing the giveaway. Oh, we can't
Don't
call him
that.
We can't call him
You're gonna
Jamie.
get the lawyers on us.
So-
Already, you're calling it. It wasn't me this time. You heard him.
A little backstory while he's doing that. Rogan got hooked up with Spotify, and apparently Spotify's lawyers, because we submitted the Hotbox to Spotify, they heard us saying, Jamie, pull that shit up. And they were like, Joe, isn't that your thing? And Joe was like, DMT. And they were like, all right, well,
DMT.
we're going to just have to get our lawyers to cease and desist. So we can't call him Jamie anymore. I'm making all of that up, of course, but
By law, we have to tell you that is not what happened, but
by
we're gonna
law.
continue the show now anyway.
I'm full of shit.
I'm full of shit. His eyes are brown.
Yeah, that is true. So,
can't right now.
What was I going to do? See, you guys got me a little high before the show, and now I don't know how to read.
That's not my fault.
Okay.
Okay,
The
maybe.
drawing is happening.
That's
Venture.
right. Are we ready?
Deja Vu is the winner. Congratulations,
What?
Deja Vu. Hit me
How
up.
did he win that one? Milk Mother had like 20 views. I mean, like 300 entries or something like that.
Well, I'm not a statistics major, but I mean, it's literally just a roll of the dice or a click of the button, I guess. Congratulations, man. That's awesome.
Damn.
Send me a DM with the shipping info, and when the show's all done and I can actually focus on that, I'll get to it.
Yeah, 404 entries total. Lucked out. Yeah, there you go, man.
That's
Damn,
awesome,
enjoy
man.
it. I'm really, really jealous of that rig.
That's
Like I said, it
super
reminds
awesome.
me of like the galaxy or something like that, or like a solar system. It's
Yeah, if you
really
look
cool.
at it, if you go to her Instagram, if you're following along here in the chat, you'll see in the rundown, you can check it out. She does a lot of like coral kind of sea kind of scenes and stuff like that. A lot of cool work
Really?
on there. So definitely give her a follow, check it out. And yeah, we'll get this shipped out to you. And then we're going to take a week and kind of decide what we want to do for the next giveaway. So definitely it'll involve boosts and everything, since we're, super invested in keeping the server running nicely. We think that's a
Yes.
really good way to be able to tally up some entries. So
It helps us make this podcast better for you, and we also give the VIP server boosters awesome things like, was it yesterday? I can't really remember because I believe I'm still a little stoned.
Yeah, it
from
was
but
yesterday.
I did a 1.1 gram dab for all of the server boosters live with them, and we recorded that. and that is posted. Tooth, can we get that posted in the Hotbox podcast chat again? Put that link in there.
Pull that shit up, Tooth.
Pull that shit up, Tooth. Yeah, there you go.
But yeah,
Trademark TM Hotbox podcast.
There's a Reddit post about it if you want to go flip some up, dudes, and the video on YouTube there. So killed that that dab gram, and I just gotta say, like, I can't handle big dabs like that. I just will start coughing. I can do like 3 or 4 pulls out of my banger, and then I'm like, all right, that's starting to taste not great. I'm done. But you took that whole thing down like a champ.
Well, I mean, the e-nail really, really helped. I had that set at 525, which is a little bit low. I'm definitely going to go in at like 550 or up next time. But
did you notice what
really,
it dropped?
really helpful.
Did you notice what it dropped to? Like when you flooded it?
It dropped down to about 500-ish and then popped back up. Yeah,
so I think
it never really went too low.
I think for the next gram dab, you got to start at like 850. And then let it settle out around 650. I think that's going to be your sweet spot.
I don't know about that. But if I can find a cheap enough banger or we're donated one, I'll do a 5 gram dab. And we'll see if I can cough on that one. Well,
we'll throw it out there.
If it's in the video or not, because Tooth might have edited it out, but we had a little deal. And it was whether or not I coughed. Now, we're going to let that deal go because he's not here to defend himself, or he won't defend himself, I should say. But I don't think I coughed. The jury's out on that one, though.
It looked pretty smooth to me. You definitely had to, like, take a couple breaths.
Eastern Dank said he's ordering the 50 millimeter. Oh, my God. Can confirm, no cough.
Yeah, that's awesome. So we were looking online, and there was a couple really big skillets, but I didn't know if anyone actually got one ordered. So shout out Eastern Dank for getting that ordered. Super stoked to watch Gran drown himself in cannabinoids again.
If he does that, I think we can definitely reimburse him in entries into the next giveaway.
Now, moving on down the rundown, Reddit user Nachuga actually posted a 3.6 gram dab. Now, are you going to work your way up? And do we know, is there a subreddit record for biggest dab, or should we just establish one as we go here? He's also using an e-nail, kind of like you did, has a nice drop down on it if you're watching the video, and just goes in with some shatter. Interesting choice. I guess a lot easier to get one continuous piece of it rather than pre-weighing it out and then dumping it in, kind of like you did.
Right.
But I should say, I don't know if it's he or she, but they definitely, you get so smoky at a point, like you can't see the rig really anymore. Like it's just like fog. So
when I buy medication, I buy it in 5 gram slabs, and it usually comes in shatter. Something like this is in a jar that I put it in, but it's normally laid out flat and stuff like that, and I could easily make that into a snake. Now, I'm definitely willing, if that 50 millimeter banger does come to me, I will buy a 5 gram slab and I will do it all in one.
That's what's up.
I will snake it and do it all in one, and we'll see if I cough or not.
I bet there's a little money in the cash fund from donations to put towards something like that.
Oh no! We're not going to use anything like that towards it. We the next thing we're going to use the donations for is we are going to buy a lifetime
for the bot.
A lifetime membership for the bot, so we have that done and over with, and I don't have to pay monthly for that anymore, because that's I pay monthly for the server. I don't know how many of you guys know that, but I don't know if my wife is listening.
Oh, busted. Well, he used to pay monthly for the server until his wife canceled all of his PayPal accounts.
So we need to get that done.
Yeah. Well, that's awesome. And yeah, definitely, again, thank you everyone that kicked in, either in cash or in boost for the server. And we'll keep some giveaways going and keep everyone happy and satisfied. Next in the rundown, I thought was kind of nice. We were talking about consistencies and stuff last week. Curabo 91 was showing off what I kind of feel is like my ideal consistency. Like that nice batter. It's like sand, applesauce, whatever you want to call it. It's a really good, for me at least, it works really well on the knots, the diamond knots that I like to use. And I just think it's a really good balance between cannabinoids and terps. You don't have like
really
when you get like diamonds, you'll have like just a big layer of terps on the top. It's like cool, terps are good and all, but like now I need more cannabinoids to dilute those terps. But
right,
that I thought was a really pretty color, really nice looking consistency. Obviously, just by the pictures, we have no clue what it smells or tastes like, but I can assume that is probably some pretty decent material there. So thought that was pretty cool.
I mean, I'm always a fan of not really judging anything until you smoke it, but you can usually tell if something's going to be at least halfway decent by looking at it. I mean, if it has good color and it looks good and it has like a good consistency like that, which, I mean, what is a good consistency? I mean,
that's all user preference, right? At that point.
Right, yeah. I would say it's completely user preference because there's great chatter out there. There's great crumble out there. There's great batter out there. There's great, like, what would you call, like, what yours is? Diamond sauce almost? Like,
yeah, just like saucy.
Saucy.
But like if you're trying to do
that's really good.
If you're trying to do like basketball shots, like obviously some sauce isn't gonna do it for you. You need like some shatter rolled up into a ball or even some crumble or something, you know. So it
5
just
gram snake.
Yeah, the 5 gram snake.
Or 5 gram a basketball shot.
Yeah, it's either a snake or it's like a big rail. Just like a line of fucking THCA.
Oh, Jesus.
Thought this was kind of interesting. User BA2 posted about some Q-tips. Everyone knows about the Q-tip tech, I hope by now. Definitely, if you don't, make sure you're Q-tipping your bangers in between dabs. And if you're chazzing your shit, it's probably because there's a lot of leftover oil that you're reheating, causing to just burn, basically. But maybe some people don't like really soft, like I just use regular cotton swabs, but they posted some Q-tips that have like a bamboo stick, so they're a lot more stiff, which I could see
I've
being...
seen those.
Do you use them at all?
No, but I want to get those.
I could see them being good for certain things, but sometimes maybe you want that Q-tip to flex. Like if you're cleaning out something in your glass rig, you maybe don't want it too stiff because it might break something fragile, you know, like a weld or something. I don't know. But I feel like that I've never really seen them with like bamboo. I thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah, no, they would be really, really good. But for, like you said, for getting in like joints and stuff like that, definitely I would want the flexibility now that you say something like that.
Yeah. Dab Dads in the chat says, I love the Flex glob mops are wood, not my favorite. So the Flex ones he likes, not the wood ones. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Definitely depends. Like sometimes you got like a little curve in there, and obviously like a stiff one's just going to crack or whatever, or just, you know, not fit. So... Definitely, whatever you do, obviously make sure you're Q-tip those bangers out. FaZe Bro says flex over bamboo. You won't be able to clean the neck of your banger. That's a good point.
Yep.
Good point. And me usually like when I'm using the banger, I'll just take like a paper towel and I'll just like jam it in there and wipe it out real quick. And then if there's any like spots I missed, I'll maybe get a Q-tip. But usually the paper towel does the trick.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, but...
It depends how big your banger is. If you have a smaller banger, a Q-tip will work fine. Like with some of the bigger bangers, you're using like 3 or 4 Q-tips, and it's like, well, at that point, you should have just took like half a strip of a paper towel and just wiped it out, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I guess it's more user preference there, too, because I actually find Q-tips easier, too, over paper towel, because I don't think I could get paper towel through there, whereas Q-tips, I can just put it in there and start jamming it in there, you know?
Yeah. Well, I mean, you're not using like the whole roll, right? You just take a piece,
I know,
wad it up, like maybe you'd clean your nose out or something. I don't know. And then, you know, do that. Don't clean your nose out first, but you twirl it like you were going to.
right. And like kind of twirl it through there.
Yeah. You know.
I guess you could either way.
Definitely. Last week in the chat, someone had mentioned something about like a dab cabinet, basically a way of like classfully, nicely storing your equipment, your paraphernalia, without like just leaving it all over the table and stuff. When I was younger, we used to have like this big cabinet thing. It was like kind of octagon shaped. And it was all the same all around it, but one side you could open it by. So I always thought that was cool because it fit all of my taller bongs and shit in it. So I would just keep everything in there, and then I'd turn it so that like the door wasn't. So it just looked like a stand, basically, like a lamp table or something. But yeah, I saw another cool idea. I think it was out of a bookshelf. User Dr. B PhD had posted, or no, excuse me. This was on the a different subreddit, I think, that I found this. Where did I find this? Or no, this was
What did you find?
This was on the Dab subreddit. B Turkey, that's who posts it. And it's just like a bookshelf with basically a cabinet on the top of it. So he's got like books and notebooks and stuff in there. But then the top of it you can open up, and
that's kind of
there's
cool.
like a rig and a torch, some butane, some Q-tips, like basically everything you need. So I just thought that was kind of cool. Wanted to kind of bring it up. How do you store your stuff? You just leave it out on the table like I do, or do you actually like put your shit away?
I have a lockbox that holds all of the actual medication, so any concentrate or bud that I might have. I don't really have too much bud, but any concentrate. And then I have drawers in my computer desk where pretty much everything fits away nicely. My rigs fit in the bottom drawer. And then out in my garage, I have a piece of furniture out there that has a locking cabinet that I put anything else that doesn't fit, like any bigger rigs or any flour or anything.
But everything's locked up, like nothing's left out. And is that just because
I have kids? I can't keep stuff left out.
Okay. See, I just tell my kids, I'm like, you see that shit? It's my shit. Don't fucking touch it. I don't touch your shit. You don't touch my shit. And we have this understanding. She's 4, but we have this understanding.
She's 4, but she gets it.
No, actually what we did, and I don't know if other people do this, but we used blue tape and kind of made boundaries everywhere. So she knows she's not supposed to go over like the blue line. And so that's where that stuff is. Works really well, but obviously not foolproof.
Right.
You still have to watch your kids.
I've just kind of like, he's kind of grown up us telling him and understanding like this is stuff that's like daddy's and he shouldn't touch it, and like that's, he understands it like it's not for him, it's for adults. Oh god.
You really lock your stuff up because your dog gets into your shit. I know how it goes. So the last thing from Reddit that we'll talk about, this was posted actually in Elder Trees, but I thought it was kind of interesting. Dr. B PhD posted, and this was like a while ago, I guess. They came to the subreddit and was doing a survey, a study, and they finally came back with the actual results. And it was looking at whether or not cannabis use after work has a positive or negative impact on your work performance. And you can definitely read through it, but basically it doesn't at all. So I thought that was kind of interesting. Something that if you've been in the industry or you smoke at all, like that it has no effect, even less of an effect on your performance than like alcohol does. I would much rather work with a bunch of potheads that are going to come to work and not reek like booze or be hungover still. Than, it just, there's no negative effect that like we've been told that there has been for so long.
Well, yeah, I mean, that even kind of in my case where I need to actually have some kind of medication in my system to be okay. I had a lot of medical issues for a couple of years, to the point where it was stress attacks to where I would just pass out and then have almost like a seizure. Damn. And Debs actually completely stopped that. Like, we found it and it just instantly stopped everything from like 2 kind of like pass out, panic attack, weird thingies a week to nothing. No, it's been like 2 years since then. So like to people like me who kind of need to have something in their system at all kind of times, whether that be just a little bit or be completely medicated, like the 1 gram dab.
I always 1 gram dab before I go to work.
I mean, a small one just to kind of be medicated. There's a difference between medicating yourself and getting wrecked, which I'm sure a lot of people will tell you.
For sure. If you're not sweating, you're just medicated. It says some of you actually participate in this study, so let me thank you once again for your help. Let me also say it's pretty telling that after-work cannabis use did not correlate with a single dimension of performance. This includes showing up late, slacking off on the job, etc. For those that didn't participate in the study, we asked employees to fill out a brief survey about their cannabis use over the last year. We then asked their direct supervisor to rate that employee on 5 different dimensions of performance, and results found no link between the two. So pretty cool.
Yeah,
and
no.
I think it's important that stuff like this happens because then we can get rid of these stupid UAs in
Stigmas.
jobs. And then people and places, employers, both employers and employees can get better fitting jobs. You have places like post offices and other federal jobs that won't hire people because they don't smoke weed, but you have all of like the really good, smart people smoking weed, so they're just doing other shit, you know? And you have this whole gap in industry that drug tests, so they can't get that caliber of individual.
Yep. Yeah,
That's
I mean,
whack.
there's a lot of places that I can't apply to because I have to be medicated, and
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's not really much I can do about that.
My mom used to hate that when I was younger because she would always be like, yo, get a job, Matthew, get a job. And I'm like, I tried, but I can't get a job. And she's like, well, stop smoking pot. I'm like, well, I don't want to stop smoking pot. And then like after a while, I was just like, you know, do I even really want to work for a company that like wants to check my pee-pee? Like that just, it's a weird thing. Like I get why, but it's just a weird thing. Not a
That
game
sounds like
I
something
prefer.
you should talk about in a court with a doll and like showing where
Yeah.
you touched you and stuff.
Right here on my allowance and on my pee-pee.
My allowance in there. Oh my god. Okay, that was a weird subject. Next.
So I guess, and we kind of talked about whether or not we were gonna even bring this up, but I guess we decided. I guess we decided that we should at least mention it. You know,
It's
the
time,
big
everybody.
Granny Gate 2020.
Renegade 2022.
if you don't-
bring up like the whole banner.
Can you pull that shit up? Dun,
Pull
dun,
that
dun,
shit
dun. But no, if you
so-
don't know and if you don't follow her, like props to
I
you.
don't know.
I don't follow her. I followed Boro News, which is a pretty sweet satirical glass news. It's satirical, but not, because a lot of the shit they come out with is like straight up true. But that's where I saw it first broke. But I guess Dab and Granny was on the Instagrams, and she's got like 1.4 million followers. She's a pretty popular weed personality. I put that in air quotes. She's a real cannabis influencer, I guess, is what her resume would say. But she got in some trouble for dropping the old N-bomb ski on her live feed, and it was a hard R, not a soft R. So,
I don't think it matters either way.
yeah,
think-
I mean, it doesn't, but like it kind of makes it worse, I guess. So after that happened,
Does it?
basically the internet broke with like memes of her. There was one with like this darker skinned gentleman pulling up someone in a white hood and cloak like on a tree, and it was Dab and Granny's face. Like there was definitely some pushback. I guess she did make like an apology video, but then got rid of it. I don't know what's really going on, nor do I really care that much. I just find it kind of amusing that
Maybe she's just at the point in her life where she's like, "Fuck it, I don't care."
yeah, and I mean, a lot of people are saying context is everything, and I guess from what I understand, the context was that she was retelling a story that her daughter had told her or something. Her daughter was in jail, and there was some conflict there, and she just dropped it. Just dropped it like it was hot, and then yeah.
Drop it like it's hot. Drop it
So
like it's hot.
I don't know. I personalities like that, and like the Matthias kid that does the nose dabs, like the guy that dabs
my
in the different restaurants and like different places. I just feel like as a whole, like I get it. It's like Johnny Knoxville, but like for weed.
What's the fucking squirrel dab
But
guy?
it's
He did a
so-
dab of mustard or some shit.
Yeah, like that kind of shit. I get it. Like it's funny,
know.
but it's not really that funny anymore. It was funny when like Bam and Johnny Knoxville and Jack, like when they were doing that shit. Tom Green, like that's funny. Like you're just I don't know. You're not.
How dare you talk about their art like that?
I know it's not for me. I'm an old man. It's not for me. I get it. But
I'm an old man too. I'm bald as fuck.
I'm also.
How dare you talk about the jackasses like that?
I know I like Jackass and Bam. Like that was my shit when I was younger. And like the Dudesons.
Do we even really want to talk about Bam anymore?
Did you ever watch the Dudesons?
Oh, dude, the Dudesons are the shit too.
Like I can appreciate. But yeah, I don't know. The weed personality is doing it just maybe because I'm in the weed industry, and then like I see other people and they're like, so that's like your group, and I'm like, no, that's not. No, it's not. I work in a lab by myself. That's not my group. But yeah, so you can definitely feel free to go research it. I just thought that we should mention it because we are like a dab culture kind of podcast, and like she's a pretty big name. Unfortunately, I saw another good meme that was like the kid that's like, so you mean to tell me that like this racist old lady that dabs out of China rig said some racist shit? It's like, yeah, well, okay, kind of got us there. But let's see, in the chat, Sapphire Dab says, imagine being that old, living through those racist times and still blurting it out in 2020. Yeah.
Well,
Methamphetamine Organic says her comfort with saying it in her explanation is troubling. Yeah, and I guess like she just didn't feel like she did anything wrong. I think where she's coming from, and like I'm just playing devil's advocate here, like we'll just leave it at that. Like I feel like she thought that maybe it was just like reading a script or something, and like she's like, I'm on the Amistad and I can say this. It's like, I mean, like you're on your IG like saying, live, you can't say that.
That's like saying because you're doing karaoke, you can say that. Yeah. I don't think it works that way.
Yeah, either. I mean, yeah.
Just because it's an art form, then you get into the whole debate of free speech and art, and oh my god, I hate my life.
And granted, like she's friends with Chris Crazy, so Chris Crazy may have given her the card, but I don't think it was the hard R card. I think it was maybe the soft R card.
I don't think the card matters.
Dab Dad says no, he didn't.
maybe the card matters in front of them. I don't think it matters in front of anybody else. And even so, I just be like, no, that's cool, but no. No.
Definitely in poor taste, and I mean, obviously,
I feel like I'm gonna get punched. Even so,
humans should know better at this point,
right?
Like, come on. So
I mean, I feel the same way kind of about like cracker too. It's like if you're gonna use it in that racial slur, it's like, really,
yep.
Are you any better?
And I mean, it just, I guess for the people that really looked up to her and followed her, like a lot of the younger crowd was like, oh yeah, dabbing granny like that. I wish my granny was that dope and this
I'm
and
gonna
that.
Be like that.
It's like people are people and people are real. And some people are like shitheads and you just wouldn't know it because you only see the part that they want you to see. But eventually, or at some point they slip up and then it's like, oh damn. That's how it is. It's like, all right, well, I don't really like you anymore.
Yep. Welcome
like
to
if
the world
like for me, like if Eminem came out and he was like, yo, I'm a Christian rapper now, like that would kill it for me. I'd be like, damn, dude, like I loved your shit, but I can't.
I'm pretty
like,
sure that would kill
I can't take you seriously now.
Anyway.
Yeah. But you know what I mean? Like it's that kind of dichotomy. That was
the worst example or the best example. I'm not sure.
You decide. It's my art, so you decide. All right. Is there anything else you want to mention about that? I don't want to spend too much time on it. Just kind of bring it up. You guys definitely talk amongst yourselves in the chat about it. But yeah, I assume her sponsorships will be getting pulled. I don't know. Maybe Ooze will come out with like a Dabby Granny like KKK collab or something, and put the vape pen in like a white tube with a little cone hat. Hit that
Sapphire
audience.
Said, if Eminem said the hard R, he would get shit on, and he'd
for sure
releasing toxic music, and he would even get shit on. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, but I mean, Eminem also has like all the cards from D Twizzy.
D12.
D Twizzy gave him a card. But yeah, regardless, you need to know that like this is 2020 and we're past that shit. Like, come on.
Yes, we should.
Speaking
But
of being in 2020 and being past some shit, let's talk about some searches and seizures. These are always interesting. I think either as life lessons or just a little FYI, like if you live in one of these areas, kind of heads up. But a lot of times it's, weed is in a vehicle and that vehicle's got a taillight out or doesn't signal. Like, y'all are smarter than that. You know that if you're riding dirty, definitely make sure your fucking turn signals work. The first one comes out of Texas, and this was kind of interesting. It was 3,000 pounds of weed that was in a broccoli shipment.
Oh my God.
Smugglers on a bridge from Mexico into Texas attempted to bring thousands of pounds of marijuana into the U.S. in a way that could be considered green. Nice. Puns in the news. U.S. Customs and Border Protection intercepted a shipment of fresh broccoli at the Pharr International Bridge cargo facility in Pharr, Texas, that contained no more than 3,000 pounds of weed.
I mean, I've heard weed referred to as broccoli before. I have a friend
trees.
His name is broccoli.
Broccoli, yeah. I think this was actual broccoli, though.
Maybe they just got it mixed up.
Yeah. No, the broccoli was supposed to go somewhere else. We got crossed off in Albuquerque.
And the weed was supposed to stay there, and yeah.
As customs officers inspected a tractor trailer, they discovered 378 packages of suspected weed, and all the bundles contained 3,150 pounds of weed, worth about $632,000. Do a little weed math.
Yeah.
What's that come out to a pound? Is that legit?
No, that's
the shipment of broccoli, the tractor trailer, and the suspected weed were all seized. Homeland Security is investigating. So if you're in Texas and you were expecting some broccoli, it may be delayed.
Texas is like one of those states though that's like hard illegal though, like still on everything, not even medical.
Did you say hard R illegal?
Oh my God.
They don't fuck around in Texas.
Right back to it, huh?
No,
Get off of it.
Also in New York, there was a 20-year-old that was arrested with more than 40,000 in weed and concentrates. If you look at the picture, is that fronts or Fanta? It's Fanta. Okay. From the picture, it looked like runts, like the fake runts, trying to runts your life up. Runts your life up. Do you remember that on like Instagram a while ago? In every story, it was that runts your life up song. That shit was everywhere for like a month. It was pretty good.
Did the math on that one.
200 a pound?
200 a pound. That's so wrong. Try like 10 times that.
Vinter says, I had the Fanta gummies. Are they good?
I had the Fanta gummies.
Are they legit? They are fire, he says. Thomas, 20 years old, out of Throop, was charged with 4th-degree criminal possession of controlled substance, 2nd-degree criminal possession of marijuana, and 2 counts, 7th-degree criminal possession. So definitely be careful out there. Just because it's legal doesn't mean it's legal.
Look at those slabs of wax right there.
Yeah.
Next to those jars.
There's slabs.
Just ounces in there.
Now, do you think this was taken by the police or was this a picture from his Instagram? Let's be smart. Don't flex cash and weed on the gram. So yeah.
I don't know. I probably both. Like, they just used that in the evidence thing. They're like, you did a good enough job with your picture. We're good.
We're not going to need the photographer today. We've got it all right here.
People are getting good enough these days.
Oh, man. Oklahoma. We kind of talked about Oklahoma last week. Another thing they're doing is trying to launch a weed breathalyzer program. I thought that was kind of interesting. I prefer if the police can just like deal with proving impairment rather than like shoving all of these weird devices at you and in you and on you to like test THC levels that are completely fucking like one level for one person is different than the same level for another person. Like you need to prove impairment. Yeah, I don't know.
Absolutely. No. I absolutely agree. I mean, because to people like me, who I'm obviously a daily smoker, and me waking up and taking a small dab, or even taking a small dab before I go out and work, I'm not going to be impaired at all. Like, I'm not going to be fucked up behind the wheel or something like that.
I mean,
Whereas somebody who
fam, we
doesn't take
dab
those
when
might
we're stuck in traffic, like, and we're fine, allegedly. But yeah, it's
we can't say
completely
that.
up to.
We're on recording, Matt.
Oh, I said allegedly in the fictional story I'm writing, but that's also because I am responsible and I know where my limits are. I'm not eating edibles in traffic because I know that will put me to sleep. But dabbing, whatever, it's fine. Passes the time, road rage goes down, everybody's happy. Now, somebody that's not used to smoking or doesn't have their limits placed, like, yeah, that's probably not safe. Either way, why are you testing levels when you could just be proving impairment? Like, for me, just make me read something. If I can't read it, yeah, I'm probably stoned. I can still drive fine. Just don't make me read shit. That's all. And obviously, Oklahoma a little different than some of the other states that have.
Can I refuse to comment on this one?
Yeah, you don't have to comment, baby. You don't have to comment, baby. Dab Dad says I eat edibles in traffic with my kid in the car while dabbing. So what's up then? So what's up? And you know what? Never been in an accident in traffic. I've hit deer
Don't
before.
dab and drive, people. For one, for your safety. Two, for other
Yeah.
people's safety.
Don't dab and drive. I mean, unless it's like traffic and you're stopped. If the car's in park,
Oh, okay.
if the car's in park, that's exactly Dab Dad's knows. He says, "What's the puff go for, bro? It's for sitting in my cup holder, waiting for traffic." But yeah, definitely know if you can handle it or not. You know, if you're impaired, obviously don't drive. That's all. But yeah, Oklahoma trying to launch a pilot program to conduct marijuana breathalyzer tests to determine if people are driving under the influence, because real police work is too hard. Oklahoma's legislature passed legislation last week to require the Department of Public Safety use $300,000 or 8 of those work slabs to pay for a medical marijuana pilot program to test out breathalyzers. And
I mean, I've heard of like mouth swabs or something to test for active THC in like somebody's mouth.
But again, all that's saying is, were you or weren't you? And maybe in an illegal state, sure, because if you have it at all, you're fucked. But like in legal states, I feel like you got to actually be a cop and like prove impairment. And like,
right.
You can't just be like, oh, I smell weed in the car, you're coming with me.
Which that brings up another question. Like, for me, I've never felt so high that I've not been able to drive.
After the gram dab?
No, fine. I mean, after like 10 minutes of me not being able to breathe.
Now asphyxiation, for on the other hand, not good to drive.
Right, yeah. You know, you might want to let that pass before you start driving again. But I mean, after that, I would have felt fine to go to the store or something real quick if I needed to.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not going to go out for a drive and drive around because I feel like it.
Tokyo Drift, baby.
Tokyo Drift.
Representative Scott Fettgatter of Oklahoma could be one of the first. He says he could be one of the first states in the nation to use the new technology. Quote, "We have a lot of problems when it comes to medical marijuana and DUI laws and determining impairment," he said. I'm not a cop, but like, what are your problems? Like, are they fucked up or are they not? It's not that hard. I don't get what all these problems are.
I think there's a lot of different boundaries and stuff you can do because, sorry, bug. Because, I mean, you have to, like you said, prove if they're actually messed up or not. So you have to find a level that, like, would be like the whole.
But what does it matter what the level is? The level's different.
I think they're trying to think it that way because they don't really understand it. You
right.
know what I mean?
They want something to just quantify numbers. If it's over this much, yes. If it's under this much, no. But it's not one of.
Want to put you in a nice box and keep you there.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like it's not one of those quantifiable things like that because everybody's endocannabinoid system is different, handles it differently, metabolizes it differently. Like there's so many variables.
Yeah, it affects everybody differently. So I mean, me taking a dab affects everybody else differently.
Yeah. And I mean, alcohol, I feel like, is different because you can smell it and then you can also clearly see that they're impaired, you know, like it's.
Well, and it does impair. I mean, it's
But that's true. Sapphire Dab says to a point, some people have crazy alcohol tolerances and can drive fine. That's driving fine, I guess. I don't know. You have to be able to prove that they're impaired.
Right. Well, I mean, at that point, they're not really going to get pulled over. And
right.
If
they're driving,
smell
right.
the alcohol, and then they're going to blow over, and it's not going to matter. But yeah, I mean, he's got a point.
Versus pulling you over smelling weed, and then like, are they the same test?
I thought they
then?
ruled that you can't weed. The smell of weed isn't a probable cause anymore.
In Oregon, right? I don't think that's a nationwide thing because obviously some states are still illegal. I think that's a state to state thing.
Federally, it's still illegal.
But I think here in Oregon they can't. It says law enforcement can test for marijuana use using a blood, urine, or hair sample, but the substance can be detected days after it was consumed. Quote, right now, we don't really have a lot of roadside testing options for drug screening. Most of those things are going to fall into a blood test or drug recognition expert doing an evaluation and giving an opinion. How do I get that job? I want to be the drug recognition expert. Like, do you just try it? Like, oh yeah, that's drugs.
No, I'm pretty sure
drugs.
that's like what a lot of cops are drug recognition experts. They can sense like impairment and stuff like that, and sense if you're like fucked up on something. So if you're not messed up, they're going to be able to tell and be like, okay, yeah, you smell like weed, but you're not messed up right now. You're obviously completely fine.
And then it just comes down to, do they want to do the paperwork or not? At the end of the day.
Do they need money, or do they have their quota up or not?
Yeah. So talking about the endocannabinoid system, there was this interesting article that came out talking about endocannabinoid deficiency. And this was something like I've always kind of thought that like, what if a lot of the problems that we have health-wise are due to this lack of cannabinoids in this system that we have in our bodies that regulates a lot of like basic, life needs, like your weight, your immune system. Like there's a lot of things that the endocannabinoid system does and if you're not keeping that well primed, like I wonder if that's where we see a lot of these weird illnesses that we have today.
I think absolutely it is. I mean, that's what happened to mine.
Right?
Doctors tested and had no idea what was going on, but they still never really figured out. They have theories that like I had just anxiety attacks and stuff, but it just happened to completely fix it. It was just a cannabinoid deficiency, or so I think so far. Which
is crazy because if it ends up being that, like, does that mean we can all just sue the government for making us all fucking sick? Like, that's crazy. Because
I don't know if that's how it works.
That's got some pretty widespread consequences, I feel like. Like, you're responsible, your administration, way back when, like, Nixon and Anslinger and stuff started all of this, like, have been responsible for all of those people's non-working endocannabinoid systems, and in turn, all of this kind of sickness that's hard to treat.
I mean, blow if they found actual active links, I think like they could technically be like, you kind of fucked this up.
Yeah. Well,
like this is something that people actively need, and you defied them of that. I mean, I don't know how true that is or how much that's actually going to go down, but I
well, they'll never admit it, right?
For sure.
Even if it was,
never.
they would.
Absolutely never. And if they do, it'll be in such a way that it helps them, and they
Well, now that all of our pharmaceutical companies have all of our patents in place, yes, this actually turns out to be a real thing. Cool.
The way we do it.
The way we do it, yes. The way we administer it. The theory was first publicized by Dr. Ethan Russo in 2001. Back then, he theorized that the endocannabinoid system was involved in neurodevelopment, neuroplasticity, and immunity alongside other physiological aspects. Thus, any dysfunction to the system could lead to a variety of health problems. These problems include IBS, irritable bowels, the fibro, migraines. In a study from do you have any of those? I don't know. You don't have to talk about your medical stuff, but like, do any of those three things like? Does weed help you for any of those if you have them?
I used to have migraines, but that was more of a chiropractic issue. But it is dab time. I forgot, and the show's almost over, and I haven't taken a single dab. How dare me?
His bowels are getting irritated. He better
My
dab.
bowels are getting irritated.
Graham dab time. In a study,
No.
In a study from 2016, Dr. Russo and others recorded evidence that supports the possibility of CED leading to a variety of health issues. Studies have shown, for example, that those with fibromyalgia and migraines have statistically significant differences in anandamide levels, which is a cannabinoid that is produced in the body, a endogenous cannabinoid, I guess.
What was that cannabinoid name?
Anandamide. Anandamide.
Anandamide.
Yeah, Anandamide. Anandamide. It's a cannabinoid that is produced in the body in the cerebrospinal fluid. Deceased endocannabinoid function was also recorded among those with PTSD. Beyond this, clinical data has shown that cannabinoid treatment and lifestyle changes that promote the health of the endocannabinoid system are associated with reduced pain, better sleep, and other health benefits. And then they got a video here. We'll put a link to it in the show notes, hotbox.earth, or obviously if you're following along here in the Dab subreddit, you can check it out. But pretty interesting stuff. And that definitely like kind of blows my mind a little bit that like something so simple as saying weed is illegal has led to like such crazy, if that's true. Yeah, I'm sure it's got to be at least contributing to it, if not fully the reason. So pretty interesting. Also, if you guys are into, I know some of you are into the CBDs. The FDA notifies the public about a recall because some CBDs had some lead in it. Is lead PB? What's lead on the periodic table?
It's called Flint.
That's
Sorry,
not
I'm from Michigan.
PB. Yeah, it's PB. So you got your CBDs, and then you got your PBs, and then you got your CBD PBs.
Then you get your FLNITs.
And then you go crazy from Mad Hatter disease. All right. The FDA is publicizing a voluntary recall of CBD product, notifying consumers about potentially high levels of lead in a batch of tinctures that were tested by the Florida Department of Agriculture and Consumer Services. Federal agency reported Friday that Summit Labs, Summit with 2 M's and 2 T's, which produces a wide range of hemp-derived cannabidiol products. God, that's a hard word. Voluntarily pulled a batch of its core organic watermelon tincture after the state agriculture department conducted a test on a random sample and found high levels of lead, which when ingested can cause various symptoms like pain and nausea and kidney damage.
Kidney damage.
Yeah, lead poisoning, man.
Good old lead poisoning.
Especially when you're buying something thinking it's going to help you and then it's just fucking tainted and you're like, why do I even bother?
From it.
And why do I even fucking bother?
That's just why you got to make sure you get your medication from a clean source that you know that's reputable.
But I can't find
you do it right.
But I can't find watermelon CBDs from a clean source. Baby, I need it watermelon flavored. Make some medicine go down.
I need the Mike and Ike's.
Give me them. To this date, Summit Labs has not had a call, complaint, or report of any adverse effect from the use of the product, the FDA said. While the federal agency was not involved in the testing, it has a policy of posting companies' announcements about recalls as a public service. This one in particular is interesting given that FDA does not currently approve of CBD as a food item or a dietary supplement, like it should. However, it is in the process of developing regulations that may allow for such marketing.
I mean, it's by no means a dietary supplement or anything like that. I mean, you could absolutely use it for things if you have ailments or anything.
Honestly,
like that,
I feel like that model is better than like the alcohol model for it. Personally,
absolutely.
I think it should have just been next to the St. John's Wort, like treated like a supplement rather than like some crazy drug that's going to get you fucked up so you can only have an ounce of it, that kind of thing.
Absolutely, yeah.
Stupid.
Which, I mean, why do they limit that amount? I mean, alcohol can get you fucked up and you can go buy as much alcohol as you want.
Because you didn't know if you get too much weed together and then you accidentally get it wet past midnight, it turns into a monster and then it rapes your face. It's no good.
Isn't this the plot of Gremlins? I swear to God, this is the plot of Gremlins.
You got me. You got me. We're getting cease and desist from Rogan and Spielberg.
Here they come. Let's go.
So just be careful what you're buying. And I mean, this stuff happens in all industries. This one says that Summit Labs was an inspected and licensed facility. So like totally legit kind of shit happens. You know, you buy some equipment from China that's got lead sprayed in it. I don't know. I don't know how
I'm
that
willing
happens.
to bet it was in the water, and they probably didn't
Ooh,
know.
that's interesting. Yeah, I'm sure. Or as we all know, hemp is a plant that will uptake shit from the soil. So obviously, if your soil has lead in it, your plant's going to have lead in it. What I don't understand though is when you make isolate, like you shouldn't have any of that in it. Like isolate by definition is isolate.
Right.
There shouldn't be lead in your CBD isolate. Obviously, these places aren't just using isolate to make their tinctures and stuff. So it could be suspended in the mother liquor and then put into the tincture that they're selling. And then now you have CBDPBs.
CBDPB.
How are we doing on time? We got time?
We got 10.
We want to talk about
to fill if we want. Hold on 1 minute though. Sorry.
Okay. Should we talk about some more? If you're in California, I guess watch out. Kings County is the next one that's getting some raids roll through there. This about 6 million worth of plants in Kings County got pulled, and they just kind of keep going. So be careful out there if you're not licensed and everything.
Yeah, but California's been a battleground ever since.
Yeah, for sure. I mean,
even with like the legal ones.
Yeah, definitely. We're like following the counties like as it progresses. It's kind of interesting. I wonder the people that are north of wherever this took place, like if they're like, well, we're next, time to move.
It's time to move everything because it's coming. I don't know. They probably hit them all at once, knowing the cops.
Yeah, for sure. Lots of firearms. Lots of firearms and
that's a no-no.
Weed charges. Yeah, definitely can't. You got to protect your grow, but I guess not with firearms or sawed-off shotguns.
Right.
They don't really like sawed-off shotguns and ARs, so.
I mean, it sucks that you can't have firearms, really, but
yeah,
you can't have firearms, so don't fucking do it.
I'm sorry. I thought this was America. My mistake.
Yeah, that does suck that it does infringe on your right, but it is a choice.
Want to give a huge shout out to Oregon for selling a whole bunch of weed. In April, another record-breaking sales month, 89 million in weed sales, and that's the second straight month that Oregon has broken sales records. So people quarantining, smoking a lot of weed in Oregon. A lot of that megafauna, Paleolithic weed. A lot of that going on. 89 mil.
Oh, the show, that's a lot of money.
Yeah. Sales up 45% in April compared to last year, making April 2020 the largest month on record.
There has been a lot of sales, even in my dispos. They have been just busy ever since the whole pandemic thing started.
Yeah, and then tack on out of that 17% for taxes. Government's like, yeah, smoke more weed, y'all. Keep it coming. Keep it coming.
That's probably why they're talking about giving us another stimulus check, aren't they?
Oh yeah, so we can go buy more weed, dog. I'm about out. Shit.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Is that actually a thing? Are they actually talking about giving us another one?
I think so.
Wow.
At least one more, right? Well, we'll see.
I don't know. Yeah,
we'll definitely see.
This lasts. I've heard a lot of people
and
say
also,
that this might be the start of universal income.
We won't get too much into it, but as like a little addendum to this, because of the virus, you've heard of the COVID-19 relief bill. There are actually something in there that's giving weed businesses access to banks finally. So very exciting. Really? Sucks that it took something like a fucking pandemic to be like, oh yeah, I guess you can put your weed money in our banks now. Like, cool. Thanks, guys. How about we start our own bank and you can just S a D right here? Yeah. I never got that. Like, why didn't like the Silicon Valley cats that just have endless resources and money? Like, why didn't they just make their own bank and then like let the weed industry use it? Like, they have the tech, they have the money. Like, I don't understand why none of them ever did that.
Because that sounds like a lot of work.
Vinter says federal regs. Fuck that. Bank of Bitcoin.
Why you gotta come up in here with fucking like reasons?
Bursting my bubbles and shit.
The fuck, man.
I know.
God.
We'll code in the regs. It's fine. And then just encrypt everything so nobody knows what's going in and out. Perfect.
Tooth, can we go ahead and cut that out of the cast? We don't even want that in here.
I'm dead. Fuck yeah. All right. Well, I think that'll do it. You want to shout out the boosters? Shout out all these damn boosters. Look at them all.
We have a lot. Let's get going. We have myself, Old Bear, you, Mr. Matt, Milk Mother, Vince, Deja Vu, the winner of today, Dr. Davenstein, Eastern Dank, Ace of Spades, Diamond, Penis Jazz, Stumbles, and Swagrat.
What was that?
Thank you all very much.
What was that one?
What?
Before Stumbles? What was that?
Penis Jazz.
Ah, okay.
Yes.
It's like jazz.
He gets shouted out twice, apparently.
I know. Because I'm a child. It's like jazz hands.
But that has gotten us all to level 3. We are now the top level, getting us that custom URL. Thank you all very much for helping us. We will continue to give you guys cool special content like you all seen the 1.1 gram dab first and live. Maybe you'll see the 5 gram live if that happens.
Well, I think it actually has to be a 6.3 now if you want to beat the record here.
Oh, we know the record now.
Oh no, it's 3.6. Never mind. Yeah, so you can do a 5 and that'll take it. You're right.
That'll take it, at least for our knowledge that we care about.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, cool,
Exactly.
cool. I'm cool with that.
All right.
Well, if you guys want to see it, we can make it happen, I think.
Yep. Make sure you're subscribed to the show, hotbox.earth, hotboxpodcast.com. Those URLs take you to the website where we have all the episodes in audio form and the show notes, and you can look in the show notes and sometimes the videos in there. There's a YouTube channel you can subscribe to. Apparently there's 2 YouTube channels now you can subscribe to, I guess. So that's cool. And then, the Dabs subreddit and then the Discord. Make sure you come join us. We're here pretty much all week just chatting about dabs and weed shit and other stuff. So come hang out with us.
Come hang out, play some games with us, or smoke a dab with us.
Yeah,
you know?
I want to get a game of exploding kittens going. I have the cards, but I noticed they had an app. And I think we should get one of those going. So hit me up. And email info@hotboxpodcast.com if you want to send us any like stories to talk about or any stories from your own life. Obviously, keep it anonymous. Any weed stories, dab stories, stuff like that. So thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. And we'll see you next week.
Thank you all very much. Have a good one.
Bye.